Why do you always do funny faces whenever we go live?
I don't know. It's just a thing. It's like just getting in the mode. You do funny faces when you go out in public.
I do
Like
not do
not
funny
okay, not
faces.
funny faces, but like you have a persona that helps you to get into the public mood, right? Like you become loud and you
I do not
joke
become
and you like,
loud.
hey, people who know you.
Okay, a little
Okay,
bit
people
loud.
who know Nyaniso in person, is it true or is it not true?
Who knows me in person then? Nobody knows me.
Hello, 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 hello. We have you on Insta and Facebook. Hi, hi, hi. Thank you for being with us.
I'm gonna
These
come up
wires are
there.
really annoying me. I don't like them being in the
I'm
shot.
gonna come up there and try and do what do you call the thing? Oh, please work, please.
Why are you doing this now?
I thought it was fine up until how's
Come.
that?
It's fine. It's wonderful. It's absolutely marvelous.
So Yana taught me lighting when we met. She taught me camera work and stuff. So
True story.
So
true
now-
story. True story.
now I'm always lighting conscious. Okay, people are gonna ask me what this is about.
Don't bother with the
No,
comments.
I must.
No, because
I'm not
it takes long.
bothering with the comments. I'm just writing a thingy about what it's about. So when
Okay, Facebook, Insta. Let me fill you in. You can type silently, and I will let people know what this one is about.
Alright.
Today, we're responding to a question that we received on yesterday's live. A friend of ours asked us to speak to what to do when you've triggered a loved one. When you've activated emotion in someone, you've triggered them, you've upset them. How do you manage their emotions? How do you respond to their trigger? How do you meet that situation with health? So that's what we're speaking about today. And as ever, we are open to other questions as well. If you're listening to us and you have other questions, please drop them in the chat. If you're here watching or if you're on the replay, let us know, say hello. We would love to hear who you are and where you're tuning in from as well. We love hearing where people are at in the world as they're tuning in. So yeah, let us know. Here we are, and we're going to be speaking about this, which is a pretty good topic to be covering. It's a pretty good thing to understand. And I'd say we're fairly good at this.
I did it. I did it right, guys.
Well done.
I'm learning technology.
Would you agree we're fairly good at this?
At what? Oh, we didn't do like we're in it to win it.
Okay.
What about me?
Okay, so
Teamwork.
I was in a good mood.
How you guys doing?
So I was just sharing that we're going to be speaking about what to do when your loved one has been triggered. When you've triggered your loved one, what do you do? How do you manage the emotions? Well, you said about what? I would say we're pretty good about at this.
Awesome. Here's a quick
Would
thing.
you agree that we're pretty good at this?
Yeah, I'd say we're pretty good. Here's something that I'd love to share with the world. For some people who may not be familiar with the language of triggered, how would you break that down? What does being triggered mean?
When you have upset someone, when you have stirred emotion in someone, when you have been the cause of emotion to arise, right? Or the catalyst for emotion to arise in someone else. I did something and it caused Nyaniso to feel X, Y, Z. Typically speaking, outside of, I guess, like conscious relationship spaces, you might say, like, you did this thing to me. That's a framework that we steer away from. We don't really believe that things were done to us. Just because Nyaniso did something and I felt a way about it doesn't mean that there was intent in the way that things were moved. And I guess that's maybe a nice place to begin.
Yeah. So basically, we've come to a place where we understand that we all have a bunch of stuff happening inside of us. We're all moving through a whole lot of emotions. And oftentimes, something that you experience in your day-to-day might poke at whatever it is that you are already feeling. And in that poke is the trigger, is the reaction to whatever it is that you're experiencing in the world. And that is what we call the trigger. And Here, today, we're going to be chatting about how to meet those things, because we're also trying to steer away from the mindset that someone is responsible for how you feel. And we're all about, I guess, for us practicing first. You need to practice this thing because we're all taught the opposite. We're all taught that someone's responsible for making you feel a certain way. Even the good stuff. It's all stuff that's already waiting to be evoked within you. And us being emotional healers, practitioners, we bring people's emotional bodies to health. We practice a way of being, coming into an ownership of our experience of life, and that way starting to practice health in how we relate to people. So yesterday we received a question from our dear friend Julia Simone, and she says, okay, cool. Can we chat about how we navigate being the trigger for someone else's emotions? Like, you do something and then someone that you love, that's in your space, that you're relating to, gets pissed off and like riled up about. So what the heck do we do?
How do you meet that? How do you meet that? How do you meet that? So how do we
wait,
meet that?
wait. There's a hospital. What do you call this? A helicopter.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah. So
Set.
criminals are running out. No, I'm kidding. All right, I'm back.
So how do we meet this? I think that the first thing to share is that we've been on a journey with this, and when we first came into the work, we were very big on self-responsibility. We set self-responsibility as like the thing, and we hit the ground running, and we ran it all the way. And self-responsibility is bringing the trigger to the mirror, right? So whatever is happening internally for me is my reality, my responsibility, and it is on me to conjure a different reality internally to feel something different.
Yeah.
The part that was missing in that, because it's very, very, very important to be able to cultivate that and craft that, but the part that was missing was bringing the boundary to the person. And so what can happen with self-responsibility, if we make it the only reality, is we can start to self-isolate and think that everything is on us, and that we are independent of the rest of the world, and independent of our relationships, and independent of the cause and the environment, and like the cause of environment and other people, and the way that we're affected by other people.
So basically, yes, bring the trigger to the mirror. Yes, own what it is that you're feeling and you're experiencing in the world. And you also have the right to take care of yourself and letting the people around you, your universe, what it is that you need in order to be taken care of, in order for you to be at a stable place of navigating the world. And it's not up to you to always be bombarded by whatever the world is doing and going through, and you have to take on that weight and make it all yours. It's not something that you have to be burdened by. It's something that you have to be in awareness of, and in taking care of yourself, let the space around you know where your boundary is. Like, this is where it stops for me. You don't bring that shit to me.
So all of this has set up our answer. None of this has answered the question. All of this has set up our answer and laid the foundations for our answer. When I am the one who has triggered Nyaniso, I did something to upset him. The first thing for me to understand is that he is a self-responsible human being who can identify what it is that he needs. Okay, first thing, he can identify what it is that he needs. Second thing, he can meet his own needs if it's necessary. Third thing, he can request of me. My first responsibility is to not get looped into what he's got going on. We can put it this way. If Nyaniso is suddenly in water and he's drowning, I should not jump into the water and drown too. I should stay on dry land. If I find myself getting emotional, then that's my responsibility in that situation. We have this thing when we're having conversations, if Nyaniso starts to get triggered, whether it's because of me or not, and this goes both ways, I'm just using this direction to speak to it. If Nyaniso gets upset about something, it's not my turn to get upset about something. He got there first. And it's my responsibility to hold as neutral as I possibly can, to set the energetic example for where he can find himself, where he can return to, where he can arrive to. It is on me to stay centered and to stay grounded, which gives him the permission to dive all the way into what he needs to dive into. If Nyaniso's suddenly like feeling emotions, and look, this is really, really typical of women. I'm gonna say it straight. And let him drown. Yes, let him drown. Let him drown. But let him know, hey, I'm here. Shout if you need help. Right? So it's not walk away.
I'll speak back to this.
It's not walk away. It's not ignore him. It's, hey, can I stay centered? Can I stay grounded? Can I meet my needs? Can I make this whole situation okay for my being? As women, coming back to what I was saying, as women, it's very, 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 very typical for a man to get upset, especially if it's something that we did, and then suddenly we go, oh my God, I can't believe that you're saying that I did this thing, or I didn't mean to do that thing, I'm so sorry, and then suddenly we're drowning too. This is something that we used to, like, this happened a lot for you, hey, like, a lot. I had to learn, like, no, Nyaniso's feeling stuff, it's not my turn, it's not my time, later. Because what would happen is Nyaniso would then have to shift into rescuer, and suddenly he would have to rescue my emotions. So especially to women, if someone around you is feeling triggered, stay neutral. Give yourself permission to have a settled nervous system and sit with yourself so that you can meet the situation as calmly as possible. You can hold space. You can hear what is being spoken, even if it's like, you did this and you did that. And internally you're thinking, I didn't do this, or I didn't do that, or I don't see it that way. Okay, I hear you. Support the movement of the emotion internally so that it can move all the way through.
Here's a beautiful a way to help support what Yana's saying, or to help make sense of that, is, you know how sometimes when you're pissed off and you just have to scream, and once you've screamed, you feel better? Same thing. When someone is going through trigger, and triggered words and triggered experiences are going through them, is that they are naturally just moving emotion. So instead of being a resistance to the experience, what you do is you let them vent. You let them speak everything that they feel, that they're upset about and that they're hurt about, and you're a bad wife, or you treat me like shit in this relationship and I can't stand you, and da da da. So you, as the person that is standing on dry land, you're also doing a thing that we call holding space. You sit there on dry land, let them move the emotion. Don't resist it. Don't give kickback and say, no, you can't be saying this, you can't be feeling that towards me or about this situation or whatever. Let them feel it. So you let them feel it, and what Yana was saying is not necessarily let them drown, is what you're doing is you are reflecting back to them neutrality. When they're ready, they can come to...
Elaborate.
I was just say, hey, elaborate on what? I was speaking a lot. Anyway, so you're sitting on dry land, and what you do, you let them go through what they're going through. You let them feel whatever it is that they're feeling in that water. And what you're doing is you're extending a hand from dry land so that they can see that when they're ready, they can reach out, grab the dry land, and then you can have a neutral conversation that helps you find a grounded place of meeting what actually it is that you're going through.
I like to, with this screaming, crying thing, I like to, and it usually lands it pretty effectively, I like to equate it to vomiting, right? Like, if you're vomiting, exactly. No, but this is the point. This is why it lands, right? If someone is vomiting, You don't try to like stop them vomiting, and you definitely don't like push the vomit back into their mouth or push the vomit back into your own
some
mouth
of us
and
do.
like swallow it again, right? Your body, and bear with me, your body knows what to do. Your body has a wisdom. Your body knows how to release what it needs to release for your system to come into health. Crying is no different. If someone is crying and you're like, no, 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 don't cry, and you're pushing the tears back into your own face or pushing the tears back into someone else's face.
Don't do that.
Like, it's the same as pushing vomit back into the... Like, no, guys, no. Just don't do it. So you want to let... The same way that you would want to let vomit move all the way through. And I know it's gross, but it's what it is. Like, you have to let the tears fall. You have to let the emotion move. You have to let everything shift.
It's the body releasing what it needs to be released. The emotional body releasing what it needs to be released. And you need to support a person in releasing instead of stopping them from crying, stopping them from vomiting, stopping them from expressing their emotions. Let them, in fact, encourage them to. Here's a quick question here from...
What happens when the other person bottles up? Do you bring it up once they're calm because they won't bring it up?
My thing around that is a lot of the time people bottle up because they feel unsafe. They feel like the space is not safe to express what they feel, so they shut up, so they keep it to themselves. What you need to do as a person, if you feel up to it, is hold a safe space, hold a safe container. Go, hey, I know you're feeling blah, 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 or you're feeling something. I can see it. I feel it when we're around each other. I just want to let you know that it's okay. I want you to let you know that it's okay to feel whatever it is that you're feeling. And if you want us to go to a quiet place, sit and talk about it, then we can do that. And then in that creating of that quiet place, you don't have to force them to talk about a certain something. Just create a safe place for them to gently step into it in their own time. Here's a beautiful metaphor for that is a person discovering water and learning how to swim and finding their comfort. If you push them in, they will bottle up. They will freeze up and they won't be able to swim. And chances are if it's deep water, they'll drown or hurt themselves or whatever. So introduce them to the water and say, hey, it's safe. I'm here. I'll be at the shallow end and I will extend a safe hand for you for whenever you feel overwhelmed or whatever it is. But yeah, explore it, feel it, go through it, take gentle steps towards it in your own time. And that will allow a person to get into certain emotions that they need to in their own time, in their own way. I hope that answers your question.
I want to add to that because there's a really important piece that sits alongside that. If you do not have the capacity to hold space, do not try to. If you're not in, if you are not in the space to be neutral, to hold space, if you say your own emotions are coming up, if you're tired, if you're hungry, if you've got something that you need to be doing, honor yourself first, because there is nothing worse than saying, okay, I'm going to hold space for you, and then abandoning.
Yeah,
okay, I'm going to hold space for you. And then suddenly it's about my emotions. Oh, I'm going to hold space for you. Okay, but I've got to go.
Yeah.
Just
the best thing that you could do for a person that is going through trigger or overwhelm and emotion and stuff is be honest with yourself and with them about what it is that you're available for and what you're able to do. Mm-hmm. If you're going through the shit and someone else is going through the shit, don't try and be there for them if you feel like you won't be able to hold their shit. Just be like, hey, I see you going through a bunch of stuff and I love and I support you and I wish I could be there for you, but right now I need to go take care of what I'm feeling and I will come back when I feel ready. And if you're still going through stuff, we can move through it, we can talk about it, we can unpack it, we can let you move and feel it. Or same thing, hey, I see that you're going through shit, I need to go for whatever reason and it feels important enough that you have to honor it, then go do that. Because if you ever attempt to hold space for somebody, they start to open up a vulnerable space. And in that vulnerable space, if you drop the ball, show that you're unable to hold them partway through their process and they've already opened themselves up to you, it feels like a violation. You are affirming how unsafe the world is, and chances are you're going to trigger another wound and add more hurt than allow them to move through whatever hurt that's already present. And that is an important thing to remember. We say this because we've journeyed that too. We've journeyed, let me try and be there for Yana even though I'm overwhelmed with my own shit. Let me try and be there for Yana even though I've got to go rush off to work. Let me go try and be there for Yana even though that I know that I need to complete this assignment or whatever it is, or I'm actually not in the mental space to be present with her. You need to honor. I learned that I needed to honor those things, because if I did in the past try and attempt to hold space for her from a caring place, I care so much that I want to be there for her, but still I realize part way at some point that I can't, and I need to go, I need to whatever, or my emotions come up and I'm overwhelmed and I'm pissed off or sad or upset or hysterical due to whatever this thing that she's bringing up in me. You're gonna add more hurt to her or that person that you're attempting to hold space for.
And the reason being is that there is no such thing as something that is in my highest not being in your highest. If it is in Nyaniso's highest to follow what he needs to do, then it is in my highest also. And I will learn the lessons. I trust that if I am not capable of holding Nyaniso, he has got himself. I'm not responsible. He's self-responsible. He's the first person who is responsible for him. What I am responsible for is my word and my commitment and agreements that we have made. So if we have an agreement in place that I'm going to hold space, I'm responsible for that. If there's no agreement in place, I'm not responsible. I don't have a duty. I don't have to show up in any particular way.
The OT March says, easier said than done. You're
Always.
absolutely right. It is easy to say all of this stuff until you practice it, and that's where the challenges and the difficulty, and then you meet your own programmings that need to be shifted. That's absolutely true. But, or rather, and if you want to cultivate a healthy relationship with one, yourself, and two, the next people around you, go into that practice, man. Go into that difficult space. Yana and I preach about it because we do it. We're currently in the practice of it, and we have been practicing it. And it doesn't stop. It just gets more normalized. We start to normalize going through that uphill of going, okay, cool. How do I hold space for this situation?
It's like any kind of workout, right? You don't go to the gym one time and like work out one time and then you're done. You continue, and with every time you build strength and you build stamina and you get faster and stronger, and like it's the same thing in relationships. We're just working out life. We're working out our emotional bodies. We're working out life situations. And so it's a continuous exercise. It's never like, okay, I'm done, we've arrived. Like, no, life is still moving, and so we keep moving.
On that, Elsie Shay says, what happens during the time when you're making the person wait? You're not making them wait. You're just allowing them to move through it as best as they can by themselves without you. Because one, remember, you're not responsible for anybody except for yourself, and it is a choice of honor from a loving, open-hearted place to hold space for somebody else. And if you're available for it, if you're able to do that, do it. But don't ever make yourself responsible for somebody else's stuff, even in a relationship, even in a marriage. There are times when I tell Yana, look, homie, this is not mine, and I don't feel like I am available to hold space for you in this. Sometimes I say I might be later, or I'm just not available, and she needs to move through it by herself.
And another part of that is that I never get to just dump on Nyaniso. I have to ask, hey, are you able to hold space for this? right? So like, if someone is triggered, if your partner is triggered, even if you triggered them, you do not have a duty to meet that trigger unless there is an agreement in place, an explicit verbalized agreement, and you have both said, I agree.
I
If
agree
that's
to
not the
hold space
case,
for this. I agree to make sure that you move through this in a healthy way, and I agree to commit myself to that process.
even if I
Only.
did something that upset Nyaniso, he does not get to come to me and go, you did this and you did that and I'm feeling this and I'm feeling that. No, like, not at all. There has to be consent involved. There has to be consent.
Yeah, I have to come to her and say, homie, can we talk about something? She says, yeah, or no, or what is it about? And I'll be like, it's about such, 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 and such. Can we unpack it and talk about it? She'll be like, okay, cool. Or what is your intention in bringing this conversation to me? What would you like to get on the other side of it? What would you like us to get on the other side of it? And when she or both of us are clear on that intention, then she might say, okay, cool. I can open up a container and we can talk about this. And she'll ask me, would you like me to hold space? Would you like me to hold space for whatever it is that you're feeling? Or would you like this to be an exchange where we both move through whatever it is that might have been either miscommunication or me not understanding something?
And also, if at that point in time, if the conversation is very emotionally charged, chances are I'll say you need to move your emotion first. I might be able to support him through moving his emotion, but generally speaking, I'll be like, take the trigger to the mirror, figure out what the boundary is, and then come to me with a clear request and a clear understanding of what you need. If all he's wanting to do is spin his emotions and feel and feel and feel and feel and feel, I'm not the space for him to do that.
Yeah, the OT March says, can we have such conversations once a week at least? Yes. And that also needs to be agreed, though, with the person that you're having these conversations with. If it's a direct relationship, a romantic relationship, even if it's a friendship, workspace, whatever, you can have these conversations as many times as both of the involved parties wish to. And if you are the only one that wants to have this conversation, then in that instance, then you can have that conversation, but by yourself. You can meet whatever needs to be met by yourself until another person or whoever it is that's involved is ready to or open to. And sometimes people aren't open to meeting these conversations. And it's up to you to move whatever needs to be moved, to feel whatever needs to be felt, and allow yourself to grow through whatever it is that you need to grow through in whatever's brought up. Julia
Always.
Simone is out here. What's up, Julia?
Hey,
you
mama.
brought us this topic. What do you mean when you say figure out or
What the boundary is. Can I speak to this?
Yes, go on.
So, you
Also,
can be triggered.
We don't have much time.
I know, it's fine. We'll speak to it quick.
Okay, go.
You can be triggered. I think we can do a whole live on trigger to the mirror boundaries for the person stuff as well.
Or just join the vow.
Or just join the vow. It's true. If you want to get good at this
which
stuff,
we'll chat about in a second.
Come join the vow. Ultimately, though, speaking to us and speaking to it quickly, when you are triggered, when there is a lot of emotion in your body, a lot of the time, if you draw a boundary, if you draw a line and you say, don't do this thing anymore, it has more to do with the emotion that you're feeling than the dynamic, the relational dynamic. So it's, I don't want to feel this emotion, so you shouldn't do this so that I don't have to feel this emotion. And it's not something that Nyaniso and I consent to at all. This idea that Nyaniso should do something so that I don't have to feel a particular kind of way. No. So what my duty is to feel the emotion, to feel it fully. If I'm angry, then I've got to feel the anger, and the anger is mine. It's in my body. Even though Nyaniso triggered it, it's not for him. It's really not. It's not for me to send my anger to him. I don't get to weaponize my emotions in any way. My emotion is for me. It's showing me something about myself. Now, anger, very specifically as an emotion, comes to map our boundaries. It comes as the alarm system to tell us something is off, right? There's been a trespass internally. I have been trespassed, whether I allowed it and I permitted it, or whether someone crossed a line and broke an agreement or broke trust in any way. Whatever it is, the anger comes to tell us that a boundary has been crossed. Don't try to intellectualize when you're feeling a lot of emotion. When you're feeling a lot of emotion, feel the emotion. Cry all the tears through. Rage all the anger through. Get the charge in your body shifted. Shift state. And then once you find a stiller place internally, you can ask, what is the boundary? What is that line that was crossed? And then you get to communicate the boundary. Hey, so I've realized I was really angry before, and I was angry about this thing off the back of this thing that you did, and I don't enjoy that, and I would really appreciate if we could put an agreement in place where you don't do that thing anymore. Would you, could we discuss that? Could we talk about that? Could we put an agreement in place?
And often what I'll do is go, okay, cool. Why do you feel the boundary there? Mm-hmm. Why? Because I'm inviting a person to investigate what's actually sitting in that emotion, in that mm-hmm. resistance, in that boundary, in that feeling of trespassing. And sometimes with going into that question, we find that there is room to heal something and therefore shift the boundary. Mm-hmm. And then two, then after she asked me if we can come to an agreement around me meeting her boundary and agreeing with her to no longer do that thing, I will be honoring what feels true to me.
Yeah.
I won't just agree to something just to make somebody else feels better. And in that, sometimes you will negotiate the boundary, which then holds space for both of who you are and what you both need.
Question. Sometimes I find when the charge comes out, the boundary was crossed, it's too late and a blow-up happens. Would you walk away if the emotions are high to take the trigger to the mirror? Yes, 100%. If emotions are high, I have to take myself either to a page or to, I need to give myself what I need to move the emotion. The emotion is inside of me. I am the one sensing it. Whatever caused it, it is not there's no external duty involved. It is my responsibility as an adult to mother and father myself. And that involves being able to hold space for my own emotions. It's one of the fundamentals of being a grown adult in this world. So take it away, feel it all, and once you've felt it all, then you'll be able to get more mental clarity.
And express what it is that you need.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Having said all of that, basically this is just, I would say, a certain surface layer of what we cover in our latest offering in our holistic work called The Vow. And it's called The Vow because, the foundations of us bringing this work forth was, founded on our wedding vows and the commitments that we made to each other and ourselves when we both got married. So we realized that actually we want to commit ourselves to a journey of helping, guiding, sharing with the world, with people out there, how to have relationships that keep allowing us to grow, that keep teaching us what direction to grow in a good, healthy way. Mm-hmm. And once again, this is just things that we've been able to accumulate in our conscious journeys and our healing journeys and the various practices that we've found ourselves applying ourselves to, and having extracted certain key tools and also having drawn up key tools from our own experiences to bring forth, cater and package it and make it something that people can go through and acquire tools that are going to help them have beautiful, powerful, potent relationships with themselves and the world at large.
People have received so much from The Vow, from this work.
This is the third round that we're doing off the Vow.
Has been amazing. We highly recommend checking it out if you want to better your relationships, not just your romantic relationships, but the relationship you have with yourself, the relationship you have with your friends, with your colleagues, with your family, you name it. If you want better relationships in your life, learn the tools that are in The Vow by signing up for The Vow.
If you're curious, interested, you feel like this is it, this is the thing that you need to just help shift stuff in your life, Go to www.velasouls, one word, VELASOULS.com, and then find the drop down link to the vow, or you can go directly to it, which is www.velasouls.com/the-vow.
So all the information is there. Just a quick note for anyone interested, the discount codes. If you're wanting to do it with a friend or a partner, then we've got buy one, get the second one half price as an offer with the discount code TOGETHER, all caps, TOGETHER. To any South Africans who are wanting to join, message us direct for the South African specials. We have discount codes for you as well. And I think that's about it for now.
That's about it. We'll be probably going live and chatting about something else relationship related in about a day or so.
Yeah, we'll be
Lots of love to you all.
soon.
Any questions come up, drop me DMs. I will try to respond to all of them. Or you can just find us on our website and drop us a bunch of messages there.
Let us know what you got from this. We'd love to hear from you. Have you tried this? Has it been useful? Have you tried this and it didn't work? Like, what is it that we can support you with? And yeah, looking forward to seeing you soon.
Awesome. Pieces. Mwah. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.